Hello and welcome to the Saltcorn office hours for this afternoon. It's Friday, the 27th of February. I've got a lot to show you, and a lot of stuff has been going on for the last couple of weeks. I think it's been about 3 weeks since we did the last broadcast. A lot of things have changed, and that's definitely things right now in the development branch is in a pretty unstable situation. So I would recommend only checking out the things that I'm looking now if you have a non-production branch, a non-production machine. And then, but at the same time, I think we're making some phenomenal progress, both with the builder, the workflow editor, and a bunch of other stuff I'm hopefully going to show you. Hello to everyone who's saying hello and good afternoon. Hello, everyone. Hello, Mike, Ian, Susan, and Leon. We've got questions. This is Jose. Um, yes, okay, yes, Susan, thank you for writing that. I have actually just written him an email. Okay, let me tell you about the total disaster that happened in my life. This is like how not to run a business. So what happened is that we do get a lot of spam on the contact form submission. So there's a form somewhere. It's actually pretty well hidden. So we get a lot of spam here, and what happened was that basically meant I didn't get any of these notifications, so you can fill in the form here. But I have just written, Jose filled one out, and it was ignored because I didn't get it, but I have just sent him an email saying I will get back to him. So if anyone has filled in this form recently and not heard back from me, just fill it in again. I do go back, but if you're impatient, I can go back and see the contact form submissions, but if you're impatient, just feel free to fill it out again. And just in general, if I'm meant to be in touch with you and I'm not replying, feel free to just get in touch again and nag me about anything I'm meant to be doing, because I do have a lot of just get a lot of emails. I mean, it's not like there's hundreds and hundreds of emails. From Saltcorn fans, but still, there are a lot of people who are emailing me. So just getting back in touch again if you need to if you need a reply. I'm not at all offended by that, and know that I'm sometimes not replying. So right, so that was disaster number one in my life, and I think let's hope that's the only disaster I'm going to talk about on this office hours. So hello everyone, and should we just dive straight in? So we have a new developer. In fact, we have kind of like two new. So we now have four people who are working more or less full time on this project, in addition to me, and so that's exciting. So there's a lot of progress that is being made, which is great, and I'm very happy to be able to show you this. Some of this is touching on code that I haven't touched for 5 years, something like that. So it's great to have someone who can just dedicate their time to that full time, and make some improvements. So since we last spoke in the last 3 weeks, I guess, the main improvement has been on the builder. So this is what you use to build pages, to build the drag and drop views, and let me show you what we can do. So let's set up a new page. So I am now using a checkout of. I'm showing you code that isn't released and isn't even merged into the main branch on GitHub. It lives on a pull request right now, but I'm gonna show it to you. Oh, by the way, I hope this is what I'm showing you. Let me just check that this is indeed what I'm showing you, but it should be. Yeah, it's all good. So I'm showing you stuff that, it's a preview of stuff that will be released next week. And just remember again, when it is released, this is on an alpha branch, and it's alpha because we have disabled some tests that we're doing the development, and then we need to change some of those end-to-end tests. They're currently failing, so I just can't guarantee that this has the same level as rock solid stability that you're used to from Saltcorn. Some of you know that's a bit of a joke, but look, we try, and I'm signaling here that there is a missing confidence in some of the stability of this code. But right now we're in the alpha phase, then we're going to go into the beta phase. It'll be more normal, and then we will really stabilize this. And I'm hoping to make a lot of changes right now that disrupt everything and get us into a better state, and that's then you solidify and consolidate over a period of a couple of months after this. This is how the Linux kernel is developed, and I'm trying to emulate their development workflow. Okay, let's build a new branch. Sorry, a new page, and I can show you everything that happened to the builder. Okay, so what's the first thing we see? Mobile device width switches. Now my browser is kind of narrow, so you can't see. Tablet doesn't look any different. I guess I can kind of temporarily make this wider so you can see. So here on tablet, it's kind of that size, and on mobile it's like that. So if I have this is just the most dramatic change, by the way. This is what you immediately see this more. So let's put in some columns here, and I'm going to drag that in. So you see here I've got two columns, the 6 and small. So on mobile it will be, you'll split, it will be above each other rather than side by side, and on tablet it's they're next to each other. But if instead I had these as medium, no, large, yeah, on large it will break. So I guess there's one. Maybe we should change. Maybe we should have the 4 ones here instead of these 3. It's like big desktop and little desktop. I don't know. But here you go. So we have mobile preview now. This is affecting the columns. It's affecting if you have show if containers. And Leon. Sorry, Leon. I'm just gonna finish the builder stuff. Leon. Leon is saying, did you see the changes to select ties and JSON modules that I suggested? I made a pull request on Git. I'm being distracted now because somebody is asking questions. But hey, you're meant to ask questions. That's the main purpose of this. No, Leon, can you just in the comments here? Because I'm not seeing what you're referring to. Maybe this is in select ties. Can you just send in the comments here on YouTube? Can you send a link to the pull request, and then we'll get back to this when we talked about the builder. Thanks. Okay, so you've got mobile preview. This is affecting columns. It's affecting if you have show if containers, and it's affecting a couple of other things. It's made right now. It's only the display, but we're gonna make it so that this also, if you have some settings, then you can do them differently in the different widths. So that's pretty cool. So, okay, mobile preview, great. I'm actually very happy with that. Let's see what else we have in terms of goodies for you here. Whoops, sorry, I want to do this differently. So I'm just changing my window layout here. And finding the issue that has the details of everything we're talking about. Okay, the other thing that's changed massively in Builder is everything is just much smoother. So in terms of drag and drop. Why am I saying this? No, it doesn't work. Why can't I drag in a card? There we go. Let's delete some things here. So for instance, before, when you're dragging things into a card, it would never show this green line inside the card. Now this means inside the card, and that means above. Before, like, both of those green lines were shown outside, and like when you're trying to drag things into a card, it never actually showed it as dropping into the card, like this green line that you see here. But you just had to have a certain confidence that it would drop inside the card and not outside. But now this is all much, much smoother. So again, I'm super happy about this. I think the container is a little bit, I see why this is not. This is because I need to be inside here. The container is also I think working a little bit better, but the card was the main case where you saw it. The drop menu here, much smoother in terms of like dragging things into the drop menu. So before you could open it, but whenever you pressed something else, it would close. But now it stays open, and you can drag things inside the drop-down menu here. So great, everything all around is much smoother, and people, yeah, it was painful before, right? You had to you definitely had to put up with a lot of clunkiness. That's no doubt about it. So I'm hoping that's all gone. If there's not all gone, if there's some elements that are still kind of difficult to drag and drop, then do just make a GitHub issue, or just send me an email or something like that. Do say. Okay, so that works well. Let's see, what else do we have? There's some small things here. Oh, there's actually now translation. The translation hasn't been done, but there is now inside the builder a mechanism for translating these strings that are here, so it says label, size, translating those into other languages. So that's great. We never had that in the builder. We've always had very good translation in, well, not always, but since year one, we've had very good translation in the rest of Saltcorn, but not in the builder. Okay, layers has massively changed here. Layers is just all around much smoother, much more compact. It's now, all the way here to the left. It just looks much better. You can see much more of the layers. You can still drag around here inside somehow. You can still drag around inside the layers, but these openers and closers just look much better, and you can see, yeah, it's just all around more compact. Let's see, what else do we have? Multi-select. Multi-select is great. So first of all, I can just press Control A to select everything, and I can press Delete, and all gone. Or I can hold Shift and select multiple elements. So if I hold Shift while clicking, it selects more than one element, and I believe it should drag into. They should drag together. Yeah, there you go. So they drag together. So great. Just if you have like a couple of elements that you want to select, move them together, just hold Shift, click, and then you can move them, and you can delete them. I guess if I'm assuming that there's no delete button here, but I guess the way to delete it is, maybe we should do something about that. But the way to delete is to press delete or backspace. Also for copy and paste, that works well now. I hope it works. I'm not going to demonstrate it. Probably would. Okay, I'm going to test it. But if you hold here and press Control C, and you go into a different, like a page or a view or something, press Control V or Command V, Command C, then it'll transfer from one page to another. This is useful if you don't want to use these. There is a library here where you can build custom components, but if you just want quickly to move from one view to a page, then this is a good way. And now you can do it with multi-select. Previously, to do it, you had to put everything into one container and then copy that over, because you could only select one element at a time. So another great thing from multi-select. Yeah, we got the code editor is looking a lot better for big code blocks. So you have here, you can have like console.log1. But if you have a lot of code, you can now get it to come out here. So that's just gives you a lot more space if you have these inline code. I hope I'm not doing the wrong thing, because having big code inside these code actions that aren't buttons is not the most maintainable. You should probably consider having them in the trigger, but in some cases you just can't avoid it, and you've got to have you do have larger code blocks tied directly to buttons that are inside views and pages. So now that just gives you a lot more space to edit that code. So just, oh, sorry, can you see? Oh, you can't see it. Okay, good. Oh, another thing that's really nice is if you have a title in a card, then you get a little area here, and you can put buttons here, which is actually quite a nice place to put buttons. Let's put a small button. We'll do something like log me, and I don't want to do primary. I want to do like primary outline here. Now, when I run this, you get a button up here in the card title. That's something you see quite a lot, not on previous Saltcorn websites because you couldn't do it. But now you can put buttons. You can put anything you want there. It doesn't have to be a button. You can put whatever. Let's see, what else could we... Oh yeah, we could put a drop down, for instance. Let's try that. Do a drop down here. Try that. Yeah, so you get a little drop down here. I think there's like a direction thing. In this case, we probably want to do that. Oh, it's the same. Anyways, so nice little area to put, user interface components. Okay, Leon writes some more. We'll look at Leon's point here in a second when we are done with the builder. Let's see, what else do we have? I think I'm coming to the end. I have a list here. Yeah, I think now we're getting to the fixing of the fixes. I think the rest is so recent in any case that it's not really worth going through. But these are the major changes to the builder. And there's still items being worked on. One that there's small items but are being worked on. One thing that's been worked on is the ability to set the settings on various elements by their whether you're in mobile or desktop. So in particular, what I'm interested in here is, because if you have a form, let's go to a form. Is this normal? No. You get a standard form in Saltcorn. It looks like this, right? And actually we need to update the standard way of doing it, but because it should be here small. These should all be small. So the standard form that you get, this is definitely something that's going to be done for this next release cycle. Let's look at this. So if you're on a narrower display, wait, can I do this in? If you're on a narrower display, yeah, see here you actually see the problem. If you're on a narrower display, then it breaks correctly, so you get this in 2 lines because these containers are responsive, at least the ones that I've edited here, but the problem is that label is aligned to the right, which is the correct thing in a when you have a wide desktop. You want this label to be aligned to the right. You don't have to, but I think that is good practice to have this label here right aligned instead of being left aligned. But then when you go to mobile and it breaks, then it doesn't look good. And so right now in Saltcorn, you actually, when you have your forms, you actually have to create 2 forms. Or you have to go with what looks best on mobile, because that doesn't look like a disaster on desktop. But in some cases, you want this layout on desktop. If we couldn't do anything, I'd probably change the defaults so that it was now so everything was mobile optimized. But now that we have this mobile preview, what we're working on, and which is coming, so that you can set this I guess I can actually do it manually here, so that on mobile it will be on small devices it will be horizontally left aligned here, and on desktop it'll be right aligned. So that's the key thing that I'm actually interested in for being able to have settings for uh, um, that are device dependent. The other thing that is sometimes there are some issues where it just doesn't look in the builder. It doesn't look like it will on the final screen. So it's not what you see is what you get. So that's definitely something that needs to be it needs to be fixed and needs to be worked on. And the really hard part is so there are a couple of bigger items. One is Copilot integration, where you can sort of just activate the Copilot inside the builder, so you can just point to a box and say fill this with something, and the Copilot might draw whatever everybody's drawing, pelicans riding bicycles or something like that, right? So you could just point at a container and say fill this with such, or you could fill it with maybe it doesn't have to be HTML. It could be like components here that are available from the builder. Or the other thing that would be very nice, I don't know if we can do it, would be if we can get it working on tablets. So lots of people have asked for this. Can Saltcorn be used on tablets? It can be used on tablets, but the builder does not work well. I mean, in fact, it doesn't work at all. I mean, you can point to things and you can maybe change some of these settings, but you can't drag in new items. So that's a sort of longer term project for the builder. Let's see what people are saying. Layers are great. I think they're great too. Small details, yeah, much more organized. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I appreciate the focus on making the UX better from Ian. Yeah, that's probably the main point of 1.6 release that's upcoming. Main points are reliability and usability for the builder. I think the best design that works for mobile is to start as a placeholder. Works for mobile is start as a placeholder, and when clicked, turn text over the field. Okay, interesting. Leon, do you want to, if you want to like just write a little bit more about what that idea is, and then we'll think about that. DevGIU says hi. Hello. Sorry that you're very active on what's it called, Discord, and I appreciate all the bug reports there. Okay, so we are done with the builder preview of the release. That will probably this weekend or maybe early next week. There will be an alpha release where you can try this device width settings, and you can have a look at that. Let's just briefly go to Leon is asking about a pull request on Selectize. Let me see. First of all, let me see if I can find it here on my side window. So wait, I might as well just copy this over here. There's a pull request here. Column Selectize. I in fact did not see this, or maybe I did see this, but this is now a month old, so I am very sorry about that. And there's a lot of work here, so let me add this to my to-do list, which needs to go into a new page. Okay, so this is all good. Yeah, this is good. This is very important. Okay. Okay, great. We do have, like, this is about making Selectize. Selectize, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, it's an alternative to Select ties. So I see. The reason why this is a little bit neglected is that often actually I end up using select two. Let's see. Let's find something with select two. Deep search now. I guess this has select two. Let's run this. This is select two, is it? So basically, no, that's not anything. Where's my select ties? Okay, so basically these are drop downs, right? And you can't really do very much with them. I don't know why this. Yeah, why is this not? Okay, so basically there are two different. Let me just go off my camera. So basically, let's focus on the top field. So I just want to explain what this is for. So this is a drop down, right? You select foreign keys, and hey Patrick, good to see you. So okay, as I said, this is a drop down. This is a standard drop down. The problem is when you have many items, then you can do a little bit of type ahead here. You can do a K here, then it goes down to Kirk Douglas. This is like a family tree I was drawing out. I didn't actually know that, but these are like family. These, anyways, doesn't matter. Okay, so if you have a lot of items, there are a couple of problems. First of all, the users can't really find what they're looking for. And secondly, if there are a lot of items, then it takes a long time to transfer them. So what you do instead is you turn this into select or select ties. Now, I have to say, I usually use select two. And that's why select ties has been somewhat neglected, which is here getting some... this is you. But you have a lot of pull requests, Dion, then. And you said... so okay, I'll write to you separately, but you didn't quite know if some of them were ready to merge, because there's a money one as well, and there's something for the main repository, and you said they weren't quite ready to merge. So I'm just going to write on the pull request, so let's not bore everyone with this. Anyways, I just want to keep on telling you about, select two. So if you have a lot of items, then people can hear, you can type here, and that you can just type something here. And it's not necessarily from the beginning. I can say like IRK, get Kirk. And so in general, there are two modules that help you do this. One is select ties and one is select two. In general, select ties looks better, but select two has better functionality. And I'm talking here about the underlying library and how they're implemented. So if you're just doing something lightweight, then maybe try select ties. And because if you do something lightweight, you probably want it to look good. And if you're doing something that's, very, you have a lot of data or something like that, then you may want to go with select ties. Sorry, select two, which doesn't look quite as nice. Should we look at? Okay. All right, fine. I'll show. Let's install select ties if it's not already installed. Select ties. Oh, it has quite a nice thing here where you can apply it to everything, and that also means internally in Saltcorn you get a lot of things turned into select ties. We haven't done that for select two. Okay, so let's go back to where we were. Where were we? We weren't book edit. Book edit. Okay, so let's set this to select ties so we can see the difference. So I think this looks better. The entry box is inside the search box where it was before. It works the same all around. It does look better. When we spent one of the first paying clients, as a big semi-big, it was a medium-sized company that we did a lot of work with them, helped them to build their internal sort of operating system for their business. And we spent ages looking at select ties versus select two, and like this was just the conclusion. So great if you've updated select ties, because it does just look all around better. It just does, undeniably. better than select 2. So that's great, having a few more options on that. Okay, great. So now we've talked about the select ties. I will look at new pull request, and maybe you can get that great look and feel from select ties and get some of the good functionality as well. So let's look at some of the other things that has happened and new. And that is the workflow editor. Oh, I want to show you something small here. Something small that we did. So in the settings in... this is something that Christian did. I need to go off my video here. So we now have keyboard shortcuts on menu items. And that means anywhere, because I've assigned Alt plus N to this all entities list, anywhere in the application, I can press. Okay, I'm going to go back to my camera so you can see that I'm pressing the keyboard. You just have to trust me on this, okay? Okay, I'm now pressing Alt plus N. Oh, why is nothing happening? Oh, that sucks. Oh, for some reason that didn't work in the... Sometimes there can be some other component that overrides it. But maybe also I had selected... Okay, let me just... Now I'm sort of embarrassed by this. So if I haven't selected anything, then it works. But I think the problem is if you're anywhere and if you've clicked inside, yeah, then it doesn't work. If you've clicked inside anything, then it doesn't work. But if you're not focused on anything, I can hold Alt and press N, and it goes to that menu item because I've designated that by the, that's the keyboard shortcut for that menu item. That's great for power users, and for the builders, I think it's great. I've set this to the entities. I think I did this in the default install. So now you can do Alt-N, and then here there are a couple of, like, if I want to see pages, this has some keyboard shortcuts. We haven't really done very much with keyboard shortcuts. There aren't any keyboard shortcuts in the builder. Sometimes we do stuff with Control-C, cut, copy, paste, select all, but we haven't done very much, but we should probably do more. This helps power users a bit more. Okay, what do I want to... I want to show you workflows. What's happened to the workflow editor? I showed you last time. So what do we... this is an empty one, so that's not so useful. Let's see, what do we have? Test workflow. Yeah, let's use this. So what's happened? So workflows by default, first of all, they're going top to down. I have to say, I was working the other day and I thought, ooh, was this a mistake? Maybe it was a mistake. I don't know, but maybe we should have a switch that goes like, oh, now this is like left to right instead of top down. But I do think for most people it probably works better to be top down, because I think most people are building on desktops. I could be wrong. Last time I announced that we were going to do it top to down, it was left to right. Now it's top to down. And we're definitely not going to go back to left to right, but we may go and have a switch at some point. Okay, also, what happens when I click one of these cards? Bam, sweeps in from the right. Was that the right? That was my right. It's probably your right as well. Here, this is the step editor, and here you can change things. And you can still interact with the workflow. And if you had, another one, let's just create another one. So now I have two. I can now jump between them. So step 2, step 1, just jump between them. So that's great. You can still see the workflow. Particularly, sometimes you need to remember some of these names here. That is one thing that has changed. And there's a bunch of changes happening right now as we speak. There is a pull request, and I was considering showing it to you. But I decided not to because I hadn't tested it, and I think it wasn't really fair to Gerard, who was working on it. In fact, he's just pushed, so he's working on it right now. Let me tell you some things that are gonna change. You'll be able to like clone steps, We're fixing sort of some of the display issues, trying to get rid of some of this wasted empty space here. And also, like, you have these plus buttons, but I think if you add one, yeah, it's placed very counterintuitively. You see this? So that sort of needs to be fixed. There's a lot of stuff about the placement of steps. That's something that's right now is being fixed, and for all that I know has been fixed, but I'm just looking at what this has been doing. And I think also we want to do something where, again, talking about these, that sometimes if your screen is narrow, we want this label to be above the input box here in the settings. So there may be some adaptation to the screen size here. But all around, I think, oh, the other thing I just discovered the other day, actually, you can do, I didn't realize, but you can press shift, then you can select multiple steps and you can move them around. I was actually wondering whether that was saved. Yes, that is saved. Across page reload. So that's pretty cool. So if you want to just shift a whole bunch of steps down, then you just hold that. So just hold shift and drag. So that's already working. Great, that's the workflow editor. I'm not going to spend any more time on that. A bunch of stuff though. There was still, basically we got into a pretty good state, and then I spent some time on a project building a workflow, medium-sized workflow, and I just noticed a bunch of stuff that wasn't, just a lot around initial placement of steps on this canvas, and so Gerard is working on that right now. Okay, okay, that's good. Everybody is... Okay, no more questions, so I'm gonna go... Oh, question... yes, question is allowed. Ooh. I'm working on a Saltcorn MCP, but I noticed there's some work done for LLMs to work with Saltcorn objects, right? Yes. Interesting. You know what, maybe on Discord, can you just get in touch, either in the general channel or you can send me a direct message? Because, okay, so... I mean, there is like a whole bunch of LLM stuff, right? So, and there's I really need to do some sort of video or something like that for that, because we've done a lot of stuff here, and I don't think it's very obvious to people. I don't even think there's a wiki page. So, in general, what we have with LLM, we have a copilot, we have agents, we have, in fact, I'm going to show some copilots now. But we don't have an MCP server. We can use another MCP server in the LLM. I don't know if that's how well that's working in our agents, that you can contact an MCP tool, but maybe just get in touch, because MCP was definitely on the list. I will show some Copilot stuff later. Today we may actually run over. You guys can just, if you guys only wanted to join for an hour, then feel free to drop. But I think we're going to keep on talking, because I have a lot of stuff here. So definitely feel free to ask questions. Ian's got a question now. I need, like, somebody to help me manage. I need to get better at this stuff. Okay, so let me just finish this thought about the LLMs and the MCP server. So there is this meta issue for stuff we want to happen. And I think, yeah, we wanted an MCP server. That's here. Oh, sorry, I'm not showing you this. There's this Git. Huh? There's this ticket here for improvements to the LLM ecosystem. And one of those is an MCP server. And the idea is that you can, so in the agents, you can create certain skills. We call them skills, but I'm probably going to rename them, because now people have come up with something else to call skills, which I talk about here as well. There's like Anthropic invented something called skills. I think it's kind of like, our skills are better, but we have less marketing budget, so we're gonna have to call them something else. Before we call them traits or something like that. So anyways, agents are composed of these skills, And the idea is to create an MCP server so you expose the skills from an agent. So yeah, no, definitely get in touch about this. Okay, let me just see, what do I want to... Okay, so let's do Ian's question, because I do want to prioritize questions here in these office hours rather than just showing our work. Yes, Ian is asking if page to PDF works in workflows, as it didn't appear to. I remember that. It was embarrassing. It wasn't working. Let's see if we can get... What's it called? Page generation workflow. Is that page to PDF? Oh no, that's some Copilot stuff. In any case, Ian, yes, page to PDF works in workflows. After that office hours, I think it was like sometimes in the autumn, I went away and I had to make some changes to the page to PDF module, and it works now for sure. We've tested it, and it's in a good shape. You can generate pages, and so let me. I'm just gonna do. I'm not gonna run it, but I'm just gonna do like. Let's create a new workflow. I just want to show you how some of the things are different. And workflow is the most important step. Okay, so we don't want that. Let's just add a step here. So now let's see, what do we have? Page. Page to PDF. Ah, wait, hang on, maybe it's an underscore. I didn't realize an underscore. See, I'm just trying to see if I can find that workflow that... Screenshot workflow. Okay, here, there's a workflow here that asks some questions, and then it takes a PDF. It generates, actually doesn't, page to PDF can also generate PNGs and stuff. You can see that here, right? Should we try and run this? Let's try and run this. Let's do Saltcorn. Okay. See if this is working. All right. Saltcorn home. Hey, there we go. So we have a picture here now of the Saltcorn website. So we have successfully not made, but seen a workflow. What was it even called? And so the thing that I think threw me was basically actions, which are the units of both workflows, but you can also tie them to buttons. They do need some they need to be implemented differently to know to ask different questions when it's running in a workflow. And so when the code that sort of tells the workflow, that the action tells Saltcorn what to ask these configuration parameters, that has a little mode parameter that's either workflow or button or whatever type of it, whether it's a page or an edit form or something. And this just I do need to go in and prepare like a lot of these actions for workflows. translate so well. So, but now that's done, page to PDF is workflow ready, so to speak. And so some of these questions, it just says, yeah, if you want to screenshot some of this, or I'll come back to this video later. This is, some settings here. Oh yeah. Thanks, Gerard. So, right. So in the entities, this is something that I wasn't actually trying to get. This is Gerard is right. That. Huh. Oh yeah, sorry. It's Alt M. Page to PDF. So if you want to see things that this is a so this is something else that happened to the entity. I can't remember if we saw this at the last office hours, but you can now look at the modules here. I wasn't actually Gerard. I was just trying to search the existing workflows to see if we had anything. Anyways, Leon says, interesting. I think it's possible to program webcam. Definitely. So, we've done it with PDFs. If you want to just get the HTML and save that, you may want to. I think we have an action for that. We have something called webhook. So if you want to save the HTML body as a string, then you can do that as well. That works for workflows as well. So you can save either the PDF, a PNG, or the PDF, the HTML code. Okay, wait. So, all right. Now that we're done with that question, let me show you something else that's cool that we're working on, that Christian has been working on. So this is the charts. So I have a chart here. So the chart is a new module. It's a replacement for Visualize, which is our data visualization module. That is a very old module. I built that quite early on. And it has a number of flaws. First of all, it's based on plotly.js. That's not a flaw. It's a good library. This new one, we're basing it on eCharts. I think it's just that I think there's like a consensus that eCharts is just the best plotting library for the website out there. Apache eCharts, it just has a lot of momentum and has a lot of different chart types, and they look good, a lot of these plots. So I think it's not that Plotly is bad. Plotly was amazing when it came out. And we may go back and fix Visualize to have a Plotly library, but this is one thing that's different. The other thing that's different is that the charts here, they don't try to be as weird as Visualize. I made things too complicated. And here you just have a plot type that says line chart, area chart, scatter chart, bar chart. These are words that lots of people understand. Almost everyone who's dealt with plot types know what these are. Whereas with Visualize, I structured it around this idea that first you'd have to choose whether you were plotting relations or proportions or distributions. And I think that was just too complicated. It was just trying to be too clever. And the third thing that's different here is we're not writing any custom SQL. And that means that we can run this against provided tables. So you can run it against SQL provided tables. You can run it against whatever you have. Wherever your database tables that are non-standard and are not just a simple database table that lives on in your database, but that are provided by something. What do we have? We have RSS. We have we have all sorts of stuff. This history provider and stuff like that. So you can now build visualizations based on that. You couldn't do that with Visualize. Oh, we have this external provider as well. That's really important. We have it only for PostgreSQL right now, but that I think we'll get different. We'll get some different external table providers where you can connect to a remote database and bring those in as tables in your system, so you can actually get data from different databases. So all of that will work with this new module called Charts. and it's just all around looks. It looks. I think it looks good. These aren't the best. Let's do like area against alley. Oh yeah. There was apparently some problem here with the update. Am I doing? Maybe. No, I don't want group by field. Yeah. Oh, have I swapped X and Y? No, I don't know why it's not working. Oh wait, I went to the bar. Let's try and get this to work. Outcome field. There's some stuff that's changed here. Row count by alley. Count. There we go. It's a housing database, and it's how many houses are there by types of alleys. Paved, gravel, not applicable. And you can set various strings here. So, great, that's charts. We've got like 7 minutes left in an hour. I will just keep on talking because I do want, but I'll go faster, and I'm still gonna ask questions. So, dev GUI. I didn't know about user forms and workflows. Could be possible to run a workflow user form step as a page instead of a modal for public access. You certainly can't do that now. I will consider that if you have a I'll think about that. If you have a good use case for that, I can see that actually. So you're saying you have a public page and you want to run a workflow, but you want user form and those interactions to be full screen rather than being modal. Yeah, we could potentially just add a setting. That's an interesting possibility. It's like more of an interact. Totally different way of thinking about web pages, right? You're driving it by workflow. Okay, let me think about that. Leon was racking his brain trying to conform a chart with Mermaid. We're doing a lot of work with Mermaid right now. Mermaid has just been updated in the next release. There'll be a new version of Mermaid. So if you had problems, you may have less problems in the future. Also, the Markdown module can now show Mermaid plots. Great. Okay, that was charts. Copilot, there's been a lot of work. I don't know if I have the latest version. I don't have the latest, but let's see. What's happened is that copilots are now changing to be copilot skills are now changing to be agent skills, and that means you can have like a more fluid relationship between the copilot and agents. You can build an agent that has some copilot skills. For instance, we're very interested in building landing pages with either with workflows or with agents, so you can talk to an agent about your workflow. Do I have one where I can? What do I have? Generate page. This one has generate page. So now I just need a agent page. Wait, what was that? No, what am I doing? Agent. Wait, what was it called? I didn't want agent page. I wanted agent test. Search. No, I was trying to find a view that had this agent test. Let's see what views. Do we have agent views? Huh. Oh, I didn't find that. But let's do that. Agent view. Okay. So what did that do? Create. So this agent now has a copilot skill built in, right? And that is that can generate pages. Generate a page about. Oops. A live YouTube event. I just remarkable how good these things are at continuing, even if you have spelling mistakes. A no-code web application builder for clowns. There you go. Clowns to serve their own no-code platforms. Okay. So it's thinking, and it's now generating a page, unless something is going wrong, which it isn't. It's now generating that page. It's going to take a while, so I may keep on talking about something else while that's generating a page here. Let's talk about tree lists. I'm jumping a little bit, but something that's quite nice is, where was it? Patience. So what we have here is, if you have a hierarchical relationship in your oh no, did I navigate away from that? That was a disaster. I didn't mean to. Can I get back to it? Oh, I lost it. I should have switched to a different terminal. Shoot. Alright, there was another disaster, but unfortunately it wasn't something that didn't work. Should we just do it again? Let's just do it again. And then I will run this in a different terminal. I'll do something else. Okay. And I can say clowns. Okay. Oops. Okay, so now in a different tab, I am going to show you our hierarchical extension to the list view. So this stuff I did with Patrick, who is here, I believe. So sometimes your tables have a hierarchical relationship, right? So that means that a table will have a self-join field, so it has a key to itself. And if you look at the data, then that means, for instance, you usually have a children. You can see who's the parent. This is somehow a family with only one parent, but you can have you can say that whatever, Michael Douglas, his parent is Kirk Douglas, and stuff like that, right? And now we didn't have a way to display that in edit in lists, but now we do. So we now have in the configuration here, you can now pick this tree field, and this is very similar to the tabulator. So in general, we're trying to, stuff that you could only do in the tabulator, we're trying to now move that over to the list view as well, because the list view sort of looks better, and it's also faster. If we can get functionality into the list view, that's kind of a win. So now that's displayed as this indentation here with this like angle bracket here, and and it's quite nice. You can sort. It kind of does the right thing when you're sorting. So it's only sorting within children. Anyways, so that's, if you have a tree, then that's great. You can do it now in lists. We're done here for on terms of generating a page. So it's generated a page. So this is the agent view, standard agent view, but it now has a skill, which is that it comes from the Copilot, which is that it can generate pages. It's done. Cloud Encoder Studio. That's great. That's just what you want. Maybe I should use this as my website. And then you can save that. So we've done this little bit of interactivity in these Copilot skills that run in the agent. So you can now save this. So now it's generating the page. Oh no. Oh well, clearly something I need to look at. But in general, it's, I don't know why it's doing that, but it's in principle it can save the page, and you know, you can run it as any other page. Great. Okay. I think that's actually it. There, we did have some progress on voice agents, so we're now working in this 11 labs. What's it called? 11 labs. 11 agents. So you can now have these voice calls, but I can't really show this on YouTube because I have to figure out how to capture the audio. But you can now you can in principle pick an agent, and then you can expose that to the 11 Labs, which is an external. It's like a big company that does voice agents. And you can now, whatever you've defined as your skills in this agent, you can now expose that to the voice agent, so you can have something that you can talk to on your website. Oh, you can't see it. Sorry, you can't. Let me turn off my camera. It shows up in a little. Shows up. This is the preview, but we can also just run it, and it shows up here as an overlay. We're trying to get some control over how it appears, but this is what it looks like for now. And I can talk to it. A couple of things aren't working, so this is very much work in progress. But this is you know, we're doing the trying to get the tools to work. So right now we can transfer some information to this agent that comes from your agent, your Saltcorn agent, but we're trying to get it to get the so it can also interact with your database tables and do whatever you can do with a Saltcorn agent. Okay, I think that might be it. I am feeling definitely that the weekend has started. It's past 5 o'clock. The weather here is awful, but it was good during the week. One day, we had 1 day of summer weather. It is only February. And that's probably going to be it from me in terms of this office hours. But I'm back to a normal life now. The kids are back at school, so there's no reason why we couldn't do maybe in 2 weeks or something like that, and maybe I'll try and do it in the morning. Low bolt. There's one question here. I'm just gonna answer that. Okay, let me just do a little tutorial here on that. So Greg here is asking how to use multiple keys for LLMs. That does work. Sorry. Let me get back to the camera here. To the screen. That does work. I'm just gonna. Everybody else can just drop off if you're interested in multiple. So I'm not sure actually if do I remember this. Let's find the module and do it through the new. What's it called? It's called large language model, and let's configure it. Oh no, that doesn't work. It's not a local one. For a local one, you have to do it through the old module store. Okay, so what's going on is that if you choose the inference backend AI compatible API, oops, I'm showing my AI API key, I need to delete that. Then it's showing here the you have this alternative configurations. But how do you... Okay, so if I've chosen that, let's choose something, my config. Let's try that. So now I've chosen... Okay, so now if I do an action, let's try and create an action. see if it not. I can't quite remember if it shows up here. Yeah, so then you can choose it here. So this is what you do, right? So you choose OpenAI compatible API. Then you fill in your alternative configurations, and then you can choose it here in the steps. I hope, Greg, that is enough to get you started. If it isn't, then I think we're having a call next week, so just we can talk about what you need there, and we can discuss it there. And if this is not easy enough, if this is too difficult to use, then we'll try and expose this alternative LLM configuration somewhere else, some other way. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend, and good to see everyone. Thanks for showing up.